Hey, people, East Oakland, we are back on the air. KEXU 96.1 FM, here at the Four News Network studio. And I am the Black Crippled.
Yeah, and I'm the poverty scholar. That houseless mama, that houseless daughter. We are sleeping in doorways, bus benches, bus shelters, and tents just because we don't got the lie called rent.
Yeah. So welcome right here, KEXU 96.1 FM, the News Hour with Poverty Scholar and the Black Cripple. So let's get on to it, and you know what's next. Gentrification report.
Emphasis on the F-cation. There you go, family. A little PSA though, public service announcement to any and all of our followers and listeners. We love you, all three of you. No, but we do. We actually do, and there's more of you I know out there actually. But don't give up on us when we aren't on the air all the time. We ghetto scholars on the hustle, and we trying to literally struggle to keep everything afloat. But for any of you who are watching or listening, we need help in the studio. So I want to put out a call for help with the engineering. Right now, shout out to our brother Muteado Silencio on the ones and twos in the box of KEXU, that's PNN, CNN, and shout out to Diallo McLean on the other side of the camera. But for all of our brothers and sisters, we would not be here with you. And so we do need some help. If folks want to volunteer, get us at poormag@gmail.com. And I'm talking about radio engineering and that kind of volunteering. I'm not just talking about, necessarily anything. All that said, in the gentrification report, sad to say, as usual, this jailhouse lawyer without a degree outside of jail has gotten not one, not two, not three, but 5 phone calls, right? So this time, it's not just in Oakland. So first of all, I want to shout out to the families who are right here, right down the street, right in Oakland, getting harassed by these scam lords. One of our elders called, and they got a phone call for a very typical thing that happens in elder-run homes, which is that one of their partner a long-time partner passed. The partner was on the lease. And so once again, and I'm pretty sure that we've covered something similar to this on a previous gentrification report, but the scam lord rolls in and says, imagine 1 month after the person passed, 1 month, that's capitalism for you, rolls through, opening the door, letting themselves in without even knocking, and saying, you're not on the lease, you don't have any tenants' rights. Let me let you know that 411. Sorry, fam. If you've been a resident, whether it was under somebody else's lease, somebody else's name, or somebody else's agreement, it doesn't matter. If you have resided under that roof for over 29 days, you are a legal resident under California rent control law. So please do not let these scam lords abuse you. Anyway, so hit up the Revolutionary Legal Advocate outside of jail without a degree, because I will help you. That was just in East Oakland. That was down the street. The other 4 calls, one of them was from Los Angeles. The other one was from Berkeley, where they so-called have rent control. Right, and the other one was from Frisco. So I want to touch on each one because they're all specifically a little bit different. The one in Frisco, it was an Ellis Act eviction. The family had lived there for over 35 years. First of all, just so you understand, if there is an elder, a disabled person, or a minor child living under the roof, whether Ellis Act or not, you are entitled to relocation fees. Means they got to buy you out, even though they won't and they don't. You have to fight, though, for it. You can't just move and say, oh, I guess I just got to go. No, 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 no. That's what they count on. They count on us poor folks giving up. Don't give up. That's my medicine for tonight. Don't give up. You have the right to be in that place. You have the right to be there for a year before they can actually evict you. Again, if there's an elder, a disabled, or a minor child. And even if there isn't, you have the right to some relocation funds under a lot of the statutes that have been put in place in San Francisco. So, tenants beware, scam lords be fair. Because guess what? That ain't the way it has to go. But one of the things you have to do is you have to document everything. So you need to write all of your information up on a letter. How long have you been there? Who are the tenants? Who are the residents? And that you know your rights. And you need to consult with an advocate or a lawyer before you have any more conversations with them. Situation number 3. It was a young person who didn't really know what they were doing. They were living in a room in a house. The landlord of the room was actually kind of a sublet, but wasn't. They had stayed there over 60 days when at first it was just set up as a 30-day residency. What happened is again, in those casual, so-called not legal situations, the scam lord said, oh, well, now you got to go. I'm the master tenant. It says there's such a thing as a master tenant. It sounds like something out of Star Wars. I'm the master tenant and you have to go. Well, actually, that's not true either. You have the right to a 30 or 60-day notice because, again, you are a resident of that unit. Now, depending on the fact of whether you were paying rent, what your actual agreement was, there is ways that they can actually give you notice to leave if they're leaving too, or if you breach the agreement. But just because they don't like the color of your hair, or that I don't know what, I don't know, you parted it on the side, they can't just tell you to go. So again, you have rights. Option number 4, and the last one that I'll talk about, which is arguably the saddest one, is that a mother and child were getting physically threatened by the scam lord, which used to happen to me and my mom. And I want to just let folks know that I know we all need housing really badly, and we're all really dangerously, desperate. But you have the right, and we don't tell people to call the police. But actually, if it's against the scam lord, I don't got an opinion, if you get my drift. Because they using those laws against us. I say use them against them. The reality is, though, that's not a perfect answer. What I would urge you to do is also have if there is another family member that you can have move in with you. Sadly, sometimes we have to do the gender politics if it's of the male persuasion. And oftentimes those kinds of really dangerous situations that single parents and single women, single mothers are in, kind of tend to quiet down when you use gender against gender. Now, this is poverty scholarship, folks, so don't hate and say, oh, you're not being PC, and you're not I'm talking about what really works when you're poor and you're in an effed up situation. So this isn't, I ain't trying to be PC, and I ain't trying to be careful. I am telling from one desperate person to another what we got to do. Lastly, though, you can also bring the law on them, and you can send them a letter of harassment. So essentially, it's written up as a letter as opposed to a police call. But basically, you're asking them to cease and desist said harassment. So, for instance, in this person's case, they were standing outside their door all the time and making these kind of weird, almost flirtatious gestures to the minor child who was 13. Both the mother and the daughter were afraid to go home because of this. And they have nowhere else to go. And it's poor people housing. They had basically me, an advocate. I wrote up a cease and desist letter for cease and desist the harassment, and actually it worked. Because oftentimes those kind of people are cowards, and if they think someone else is watching you, they'll back the F off. So that's my gentrification report. I love you all. Be strong, stay free, and hit up poormag@gmail.com with all your poor people lawyering questions.
All right, that's Tiny with the gentrification report. So I want to talk to you about you're probably sick of these, like maybe not again. But Obama was in town a couple weeks ago for his charity, nonprofit, My Brother's Keeper. And I've been following this since it came out when he was in office. And it's really just a nonprofit, giving out grants and stuff. So I watched the whole film, on YouTube, and nobody brought up disability. There's no boys or young men with a physical disability that I witnessed there. I bring it up because, especially black boys with disabilities, have been attacked by police, have been thrown out of nursing homes. Yeah, black boys are in nursing homes in Florida and even here. We talk about, the governor's race in Florida and, Gillen that ran for governor at lost. Yeah. And he never brought up that issue because Florida rejected Obama's care plan, when Obama was in office. And so because they rejected that, and they rejected, thousands and thousands of dollars, and because of that, there's a lot of youth in nursing homes.
Yeah.
Not group homes. Not centers, but nursing homes. So that, and of course we have the ongoing police brutality against black disabled boys. So I bring this up because, there's a lot of talk around, My Brother's Keeper, in Oakland. I'm not going to name any names.
Everybody was there.
Mm-hmm. I'm not going to name any names, but there's black boys, groups, clubs, and none of them, talk about this way. I reached out to them years ago and said, how about black disabled boys? I get silenced. So we had to really look at, if we're talking about, having a movement or doing something different, you really have to think of, who's not there, who's not in the room. So that's my little 2 cents on My Brother's Keeper. My brother is not my keeper.
Yeah, you're listening to PNN, not CNN, people. That's Poor People's Revolutionary Radio. What? Yeah, and I just want to say we're streaming on www.poormagazine.org/radio and on the dial in East Oakland on 96.1 FM and on YouTube, Poor News Network. We appreciate your subscriptions. I just want to say one last piece. We're shortening our news tonight so we can go into full-on Crip Hop Nation. But in Berkeley, as we speak, the Berkeley City Council in hip-hop-crazy Berkeley, where everything's so progressive, they're voting on or hearing on how there's too many vehicularly housed dwellers in Berkeley. Shout out to Jessica, Christian, and Amber. Shout out to all the powerful poverty scholars who Poor Magazine works with. They're part of the Berkeley Freewheelers. Shout out to the Landless People's Alliance, who's trying to fight back. But I do want to say specifically to the residents of Berkeley, Stop perpetrating the hypocrisy. Stop worrying and fighting for freedom in Palestine and Nicaragua, and at the same time voting, talking, and ish-talking about us unhoused people in your streets. Because that is BS. Now, those of you who might be listening to us, I know you don't get down like that. So even though you might not make tonight's hearing, hit up all of the board of supervisors over there. Actually, the city council members, excuse me. Cheryl Davila, we love you. But everybody else, hit them up and let them know. No, we don't have no problem with the RV dwellers in Berkeley. And we do not want them kicked out. Because as we always say, as houseless and poor people, just no matter how many times you sweep me, arrest me, and study me, it don't give me a home.
Yeah. Berkeley, what are you doing? You know, first you took away the benches, now you're taking away, you know, people's cars. You know, what the hell?
So that's it for Poor News Network tonight, Poor People's Revolutionary Radio. We're going to take a short musical break and then go straight into Crip Hop Nation. We love you. We'll see you next week at this time.
Peace.